Welcome back, Rankers. A little bit darker this week. We just blew a line just before I went to record. Bugger. Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit this week. Well, actually, firstly, a follow-up from last week. A lot of people were feeling the same pain as me with these Google products that keep changing their names and they're so confusing. They all seem so similar and no one knows which one they're meant to be working on. Everyone feels the same way. Oh, and by the way, I couldn't change that last week. About 48 hours after the show went live, Google fixed that bug and you can now change your cover. So thank you, Google. But yeah, we weren't alone last week. All of these people were feeling the same way and people took the opportunity to vent a little bit on the various platforms, but good to know you're not alone. I want to talk to you a little bit this week about Google indexing and how to find out what's been indexed and maybe getting Google back to the site a little bit quicker than it currently is at the site. And I was put onto this guy by Dan from our office, Enrico Altavilla, and he had a really good article about using the Google site search, which, you know, obviously big fans of here, but using the time aspect of the site search, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So you've all seen I've used this bot tracker here before, which is the one I plug in for, or I should say, a script that we use on WordPress sites. And this is really good because it tells us, you know, how often Google comes, where Google is finding pages from, and how it's crawling the site. And it gives us an idea of how it's crawling. So you can see here, this is sort of the last 7 days here. You can see here on the 10th of July, this tracker is saying that Google visited 145 pages. However, if I compare that to Google Webmaster Tools, Google said, no, not 145. No, on the 10th, no, we did like, you know, no, we did 492. Really? I don't think so. Anyway, so you're going to get discrepancies between the various tools out there. Someone's lying, someone's not. But people think that often when they look at the cache date that is when Google crawled the site or came to the site. Not true. So there's indexing, there's crawling, and there's caching. Caching and indexing, you could argue, are similar things. But if we use this sorted by date tool, and I'll show you what we mean. We'll just go to google.com.au. And I'm just going to search the AU space using the site colon. So we do that, and then we can say, okay, let's search by, and I'm saying show me everything in .au, .com.au, .net.au, .gov.au, .asn.au, everything in the .au space. And then I'm saying, with this search tools, show me results from the past hour. Okay, I want to know what you've indexed in the past hour. And it tells me here, oh, look, this is what we've been searching in the past hour. But then I say, okay, now, but sort by date. And if I sort by date, then I get the most recent things that Google has searched. And that's what's happened in the past hour. And you can see here that Seek.com is quite active, Proactive Investors, ABC. But then I can go up to here, to this little thing here, where it says QDR, colon, H means hour. If I go in, I get the last minute and make sure I'm sorted by date, and I'm getting, this has happened 7 seconds ago. So you start to get a feel. Look at all this Gumtree stuff. All of a sudden it's indexed. Now indexing is different from crawling, because if I go and have a look at, say, we do the same thing on Stuart Media, and I say, show me everything that you've crawled from Stuart Media, or index, I should say, from stuartmedia.biz in the last past week. Show me everything you've indexed in the past week. Well, there's a couple of weird things happening here. It's like it's indexed the Contact Us page. Well, surely you would have done that before today, right? And then I look at this, it's like, it's indexed the blog page. Well, surely you've done that before today. And you've indexed the sitemap. Sitemap, I get, because that would have changed. And this is a blog post. I get that too. That's last week's blog post. But there's a couple of glaring omissions here for me, and this tells me something about our site, the way Google's crawling our site. So we can see that, by just looking at that bot tracker, that Google's crawled over, it's crawled hundreds of pages. And not only in the bot tracker, we can also see it in Google Webmaster Tools. Thousands of pages, according to Google Webmaster Tools. But when I go and do this search, in the past week, Google has only indexed 4 pages. Now these 3, it's re-indexed. Why? Because these 3 have changed. So then we've got to ask ourselves, why have these 3 changed? Well, in the case of the Contact Us page, it will be because probably this area over here, the latest blog posts. But Google's, not picking up another blog post that was written by Vandy here in our office last week. It hasn't picked that up yet, hasn't indexed it. So we need to punch Google and say, hey, come and index that. And we also need to change probably some of the linking structure within our own site at the moment to get Google crawling it in a better way. But then I can say, well, what have you crawled in the past 24 hours? Or indexed in the last 24 hours? Well, nothing. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to go and publish this one here. This is a post I prepared earlier, not published yet. You can see here it still hasn't got the publish button. It's called Testing the Google Index, and that's what we're about to do. And so I'm going to say publish that. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say search that. Nothing yet. Past 24 hours, nothing. So then I'm going to say to Google, Google, please go and index this thing. So we search it, not there, not there, not there. Okay. So then we go to the blog. There it is, testing the Google Index. So grab that URL. Now it's not shared anywhere, right? I haven't shared it, but I know that there's a couple of people out there auto-sharing some of our stuff, but there's no backlinks to it yet. So first of all, I'm going to go and do that one more time. There it is. Okay, so then I say, I want to know, I can also go up here to this QDR thing, say show me in the past minute, which is the letter N. Okay, that didn't work. I broke it. Anytime, past hour. So back to the past hour again. Okay, so if I go up here, and this will tell you something about how Google is crawling your site and how quickly it's indexing things. So I didn't actually didn't have to tell Google at the end of that to actually go and crawl that and fetch it. It just went and did it anyway. You can see past minute now, it's now gone. It's moved on. I can also have a look and see, though, and thank you to Enrico for this, and some of you might find this useful if you play things like Tatsloto or Bet or anything like that. So if you do, instead of N, you do R, and you can see what's going to happen tomorrow, what they're indexing tomorrow, which is handy. Why Google would do that, I don't know. Hopefully some of that is helpful. And if you do find the Tatsloto numbers for 24 hours ahead of time, please let me know. Remember where you heard it first. Thanks very much. See you next week. Bye.